2020-2021 MSJC Program Review for Instruction, Illumine Template Instructions. Section 3A, Awards, Time to Completion, and CSU-UC Transfers. In Section 3A, we will begin the program review data analysis for student outcomes. This will include the number of awards earned, AA, AS degrees, and CT certificates, the average time to completion for earning these awards, and the number of our students who transfer to UC or CSU campuses. Besides the application to scheduling, ensuring the appropriate number and level of course sections offered each term, knowledge of the size and scope of your programs is basic information needed to serve your students. For instance, having a sense of the student demand for your degrees and certificates, knowing the data for UC and CSU transfer, and having a grasp on the challenges faced by students from various equity groups will help educate and motivate you when it comes to maximizing resources provided by your discipline. In the Illumine Program Review template, scroll down to Section 3A, Awards, Time to Completion, and UC-CSU Transfers. The first section is 3A1, Awards. As you look at each program, degree or certificate, look for trends over the past 3 years. Are the number of awards earned trending downward or upward? Let's access the Program Review Data program and look at an example discipline and create a sample response. Click on the additional links and select Data, Instructional Program Review. Note that this data is for the 2017, 2018, and 2019 academic years. For our example, let's select Art. We'll do the AA Art degree. Important. First, select AA Art from the academic program drop-down list. Then, to select just the AA degree, select AA Art in the academic program ID window. That is, to access the AA Art degree data, choose AA Art from the academic program drop-down list. It is already selected. And then select just the AA degree in the academic program ID window. Notice how the bar graphs and graphs changed when we did this, indicating that the data supporting these visuals changed. Important, there are 3 more art degrees we have to look at before we finish this section. If your discipline has more than 1 award, you will need to review the data for each award. You can use the college catalog to find the information needed to access data for all your degrees and certificates in the Program Review Data program. Let's do this for art. First, go to the college website, msjc.edu. Under Programs and Classes, select Catalog. Then select Catalog 2020-2021. Now select Instructional Programs, and then Art. Click on Degrees and Certificates. We've already accessed the data for the AA in Art. What about for the AAT in Art History? Click on that transfer degree. Notice the acronym we need is at the bottom, AA.ArtAH, which stands for AA in Art History. Similarly, we have AA Art SA for the Studio Arts degree and AA.Art.Viscom for the Visual Communications degree. Note that each of these 3 have option B, CSU, and option C, UC variants. Even though the coursework for these 2 options is not identical, typically there is no difference between the data for these 2 options, so we can analyze the data for both using just one of them in the Program Review Data program. So here is how we find the data for these 3 degrees in the Program Review Data program. First, for visual communication, recall that option B and option C were under the AA Art heading in the academic program ID dropdown. By default, Viscom is included with the AA Art data. We can separate them by choosing the one we want. We already chose AA Art earlier. Notice if we choose either Viscom option, the data is the same. So we can choose either one, for this tab at least. To access the AA Art AH or AA Art SA data, first return the academic program ID data to its default, all, and then choose the degree you want from the academic program drop-down menu. Notice that the default in the academic program ID window includes both option B and C. But if we choose either option individually, the data does not change. This is not always the case, but it does occur typically. Here is the AA Art SA data. Now let's look at the awards earned for the AA Art degree and write a template response for section 3A1. With AA Art selected in both the academic program and the academic program ID menus, let's choose tab 5. Note that just the AA Art data is being presented by this tab as well. The table on the left shows the count of completions for the AA Art degree. Just hover over the bars to determine the counts. In 2017, there were 7 awards earned. In 2018, 15, and 11 in 2019. Let's describe this data in our response to section 3A1. For the AA Art degree, there were 7 awards earned in 2017. The number increased to 15 in 2018 and then decreased to 11 in 2019. If you have multiple awards, make sure to associate the degree or certificate with its data. Make sure to hit Save Draft often. Now let's do the Viscom numbers, since it is very convenient to do so. Notice that the numbers for option B, the CSU transfer option, are different than the numbers for option C, the UC option. We will need to write a response for each option. Here are our responses. For AA Art Viscom option B, there were 3 awards earned in 2017. The number increased to 5 in 2018 and increased further to 8 in 2019. For AA Art Viscom option C, there were 2 awards in 2017, 1 in 2018, and 4 in 2019. Note, if these numbers are trending either smaller or larger, please enter your analysis, i.e. possible explanations for why these trends are occurring, with your data descriptions. This section will be complete once we enter our responses and analysis for the AA Art AH and the AA Art SA data. Remember to hit Save Draft often. Now let's complete section 3A2, Time to Completion. This data, measured in years, is found in the right-hand table of tab 5. For the AA Art degree, we see it took an average of 4.31 years for the typical student to earn this degree after taking the first course included in the program. For 2018, the time was 3.83 years. In 2019, 4.26 years. For Viscom option B, the time has been steadily increasing from 2.12 years in 2017 to 4.55 years in 2019. Looking at both tables in tab 5 for Viscom option B, over the past 3 years, students are earning more degrees, but it's taking them longer to do so. For Viscom option C, students are earning more degrees, but it's taking less time for them to do so. Yay! Let's enter our responses in section 3A2 of the program review template. Remember to include any analysis in the form of explanations for any data trends. Enter your responses for AA.art art history and AA.art studio art, and you are done. Remember to hit Save Draft often. Let's complete section 3A by completing section 3A3, UC and CSU transfer numbers. To access the transfer data, click on Additional Links. Let's look at the CSU transfer information. For this example, let's use history. Click on Data Transfer Numbers CSU. Choose MSJC from the Community College District menu. Click outside the menu to make your selection. Under CSU concentration name, we'll choose History. Click Submit. CSU transfer system data for our college from 2008 through 2017 is provided. Note that the number of CSU transfers ranged from a low of 6 in 2014 to a high of 26 in 2010. From 2015 through 2017, the number has stayed constant, about 12. Here is our section 3A3 response for CSU transfers. The number of history CSU transfers range from a low of 6 in 2014 to a high of 26 in 2010. From 2015 through 2017, the number has stayed constant, about 12. Remember to hit Save Draft often. Let's look at the UC transfer numbers for history. Click on Additional Links and Data Transfer Numbers UC. Click on By Community College. Select MSJC from the drop-down menu. In the second column from the left, history's CIP2 digit is 54. So scroll down that column looking for 54. Nothing for Berkeley or Davis, UCB or UCD. Irvine, UCI, shows some transfers. One each in 2015 and 16 and 2 in 2017. UCLA shows 2 transfers in 2012, 2014, and 2016, with 1 each in 2017 and 18. Riverside, UCR, is close to home, and there are a number of transfers. The numbers range from 1 in 2017 to 12 in 2015. There are 3 years for which there are 6 MSJC students transferred. Over the past 3 years, the numbers have declined. For the campuses except Riverside, the transfer numbers are typically 2 per year or less. Here is our section 3A3 response for UC transfers. For most UC campuses, the history transfer rate is at most 2 MSJC students per year. The exception is UC Riverside. Transfer rates from 2012 through 2016 were typically 6 to 12 students per year. These numbers have been in decline recently. If the MSJC history faculty have suspicions regarding these numbers and recent trends, they would share them following the data description. Don't forget the analysis. Remember to hit Save Draft before you leave this section. If you have any questions or would like assistance, please contact Paul at programreview@msjc.edu or at phurt@msjc.edu. The template needs to be completed no later than 26 February 2021. The wraps are due 12 March 2021.